Welcome into the Echo Sportscast, number 72.
I'm Jackson Bowl.
And I'm Ben Sargent. Canadore Panthers Volleyball hosted a couple games last weekend against Loyalist and Fleming. We have highlights from Sunday's matchup against Fleming.
We also have updates on the Lakers as Trent visited for volleyball and the basketball team was on the road in Thunder Bay.
And with exams underway this week, we are going to be taking a look at where teams sit in the NDA in volleyball and basketball heading into next week's final regular season games, including a critical matchup for playoff seeding when Algonquin visits Chippewa in basketball next Thursday.
All of that and more on the way after a word from today's title sponsor, Source for Sports.
It's almost that time of year. Early mornings at the rink, fresh notebooks and backpacks, and a community gearing up for another great season of varsity sports. At Source for Sports North Bay, we're proud to be part of it all. Whether it's finding your kid's first pair of skates, gearing up for tryouts, or outfitting your team for the season ahead, we've got you covered. Because here, we're not just a sports store, we're neighbors, coaches, teammates, and fans. And we're proud to cheer you on every shift, step, and stride of the way. Visit Source for Sports North Bay at 1321 Fisher Street and let us help you along your way.
On Sunday afternoon, Canadore hosted Fleming and the place was rocking as the women played at 1 o'clock and really took control of the game from the get-go after winning the two first sets 25-6 and 25-20. Fleming gave them a good fight in the third set, but the Panthers would go on to sweep the game with a 25-17 third set win. Kate McKenzie led the Panthers with 8 kills, while Annika Butler had 5 aces. The women also won on Saturday against Loyalist in straight sets, and they now sit above 500 with a 7-6 record heading into Saturday afternoon's 1 o'clock game at Canadore against George Brown.
And after the women played, the men also took to the court for the Panthers. Coming into this weekend, they were 8-3, and after a really tough win on Saturday against Loyalists in 5 sets, they welcomed in Fleming, where they had a bit of an easier time. They ended up winning that game in straight sets, which now puts their record at 10-3, and the Panthers, the men's, find themselves on a 4-game win streak and sit third in the standings. They will be also hosting George Brown as well as the women. This time they play at 3 p.m. at home on Saturday afternoon. So yeah, first time I've gotten Canadore, some Canadore Panthers stuff this year. I was hoping that the men's basketball were also playing, but they were on the road. I think they played in Mohawk. We'll get to the updates in a second there, but anyways, the volleyball, they hosted a couple of games. I was able to get to the Sunday games, which was really cool. There were a lot of people there. A lot of people on a Sunday afternoon, which was kind of neat to see. I think they were giving out free popcorn as well, which was
nice.
It's kind of cool.
More people than an NDA game?
Well, the gym is bigger.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would say not as many as like a big game in the NDA, but like for a regular season game. Because I've been to a couple of NDA games where you have maybe a not so good team playing a really good team, and there's like no one in the crowd. Yeah. You know, there was a decent amount of people in there as well, which was really nice. And we got to go down the staircase of doom. You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. The lovely angled staircase. What do you think the angle is? Like,
not right.
Ugly? Yeah. Yeah.
No, the problem is the stairs point directly down, but the staircase goes on a diagonal. So you train yourself to go downstairs normally, but instead you have to go down them on like a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
And I just don't know why they didn't just angle the stairs
the right way.
the right way.
Just go down.
Anyways, it was some really good games. I mean, the men's are doing really well right now. They're, again, 10-3. They're a couple of wins. I think they have one more loss and 2 less wins than a couple of teams. So I think they're going to make a push. The women's to get above 500 is really nice. And it was it was neat to see some of the Panthers side of things. I'd love to get some of their coaches on and just get a chance to chat with them.
Absolutely.
Which would be really kind of neat because it's a bit of a different world than when you look at Nipissing. It's still just as competitive, but I find that it's a little bit more spread out because I find with the Lakers, it's very like down south has a huge advantage.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's just kind of nice with this because you have a lot more of the smaller kind of areas. There's not as much of the big powerhouse teams as like name whatever powerhouse teams you have, right? In like I don't even know the other schools that would be powerhouse teams, but you know what I mean, like the Londons of the world and
like
the Toronto,
Ottawa,
like those big ones. Here it's like you get teams like Loyalist and Fleming and those kind of teams that come in. And Loyalist gave them a good fight too. Like that was 5 sets. No set was less than 4 points. No team won a set by more than 4 points until the 5th set, where I think Canadore won like 15-6. So it was they were like tough fights, which was also nice.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think another powerhouse team in the past and still is Cambrian. And so like Northern Ontario having a good stake in the matter is fantastic to see, and like probably good for the down south teams too, to have to come down and play a good game, not just come up and roll over them.
In basketball as well, just quickly to round out the Canadore stuff, the men did go on the road on Saturday to Mohawk in Hamilton. They ended up dropping that 104-80. They are back in action on the 31st, so that is, oh my goodness, we are already in February. That is tomorrow, 6 o'clock, where they host Redeemer at the Canadore Gym. I might pop by. I'll see what my Saturday evening looks like, because I think there's also some NDA hockey going on as well Saturday evening.
Yeah.
So I might try to pop by and see what's going on in Redeemer. It's going to be a busy week next week, but
I hope Canadore men's basketball wins that game. I don't know how good Redeemer is. I hope the Redeemer comes into town, and there's a lot of people, like you said, and just they upset them.
Pivoting over to the Lakers, I was going to actually head over to the women's hockey game against York on Friday night, and it got postponed. I'm assuming because of weather. I think they did end up rescheduling that game, but they had a couple of really interesting games this weekend as well, as they welcomed Trent into the world. I didn't get any footage, but I have a couple of clips that their Instagram put out. They had some really good footage on their Instagram, so I'm going to just steal that a little bit, and so you guys can see what was going on there. This weekend, again, volleyball, both men and women hosted Trent on Friday and Saturday, and it was a pretty successful weekend for both teams. The men and women both swept their 2 games in straight sets, and both teams are actually going to be in action, not this weekend, but next weekend on February 6th, when they're hosting University of Ottawa, which will be the penultimate set of games as they finish off their season against Lakehead on the 13th and 14th. So we're getting very close to the end of the seasons.
Lots of Lakers basketball updates. Starting with the men's, they played last Friday against Lakehead in Thunder Bay, and they squeaked one out with an 86-84 victory. And then they had a middle-of-the-week game just down the highway in Sudbury at Laurentian on Wednesday, and they dropped that one 83-74. And moving to the women's side, they also went down to Thunder Bay to play Lakehead last weekend. They unfortunately lost 76-52, but then bounced back on Wednesday in Sudbury, beating Laurentian 77-64. Upcoming for the women's, they have one game tonight against University of Guelph at 6 o'clock here in North Bay. And as for the men's, they play tonight against University of Guelph at 8 o'clock here in North Bay.
And in men's hockey, as we shift gears over to the ice, they were back in Quebec again as they played the Université de Québec at Trois-Rivières, where they dropped that game 1-0 on Friday. And then Saturday afternoon, when they faced McGill, they dropped it a bit of a wider margin, 5-0. They are still on the road this upcoming weekend. Saturday, they play a 2:30 game against Queens in Kingston, and then they head over on Sunday to Ottawa to play the University of Ottawa at 3 o'clock. And then on the women's side, they had, as I said, the York game got postponed. They had one game on the docket. It was University of Ottawa on Saturday night, and they dropped it 3-0 here at home. They are on the road to play that York game. They will be in Toronto to face York at 7 o'clock tonight, and then they play TMU tomorrow afternoon at 2:15 in Toronto. And then talking about that York game that ended up getting postponed, it did get moved to Tuesday, February 3rd at 8 p.m. So lots of action for the Lakers this upcoming week. A couple of good results, and again, heading into playoffs. And it looks like, some people are on a good side here. I mean, the hockey's kind of interesting when you look at the hockey teams so far. The men having a better year than they did last year. I mean, they're 9-10-3. Last year they had it was a bit of a struggle for them. The women's having a bit of a down year this year. A lot of turnover for them.
Yeah, I would say the women's were expected to have a stronger team, and they're not. And the men's they had a fantastic start. As of late, I don't think they're doing so hot. And then getting completely blanked this weekend in Quebec isn't awesome. But I think that if they can tighten it up for the end, go into the playoffs, they'll still be a competitive team. They have their goalie, Zach Roy.
Yep. No, it's Roy.
It's Roy?
Yeah. I think, unless it's changed. I'm 99.9% sure.
It's Roy?
Yeah.
He has the second highest save percentage in the OUA right now or something.
Yeah, he was fantastic last year, and he's been fantastic this year. Talking about that men's, though, 6-game losing streak.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of hinting at, that they need to tighten her up. That I think they know too. Like, it's not like a surprise or anything. So I hope that they do that in the
And I mean, they do travel a lot more. Like, we just seen like they travel to Quebec, and that's in Montreal, I believe, right? I don't know why I have the screen on the other side that I have to look. Yeah, Montreal. And I'm assuming I think that's Three Rivers in French, Trois Rivières.
I would have to assume.
Is that right? I'm not French. You would assume that they're probably pretty close to Montreal. So Montreal's a 6-hour drive, roughly, 5 to 6 hours. I only know that because I'm going to go see Rush in Montreal in September. So I looked at it's been a very long time since I've been in Quebec. But that's a long, I mean, it's like going to Niagara.
Yeah, it's not easy. And it's
right?
To go play a tough team. Like, it's, yeah.
I know one of the challenges that the women have, at least in hockey, is trying to get people to come up here, because does a York want to travel 4 hours to play one game, or Queens want to, it's a lot of travel whereas they could just travel 2 hours and go to Kingston or wherever, right? It's different when you're traveling like long distances versus being stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a different world, but I know that's one of the challenges that they have. But playoffs, man, anything can happen.
Absolutely, anything can happen. Yeah, the men's do like road trips, it looks like they went to Quebec for 2 games. And I think they did that earlier in the year too.
Yeah.
They went to Quebec. And that makes a little bit more sense, but they are sort of forced to do that, and that's expensive too, to go on the road trips. And especially if you're unsuccessful, it's probably not a great feeling.
We often talk about the rhythm of life in North Bay. For Amanda, that rhythm was fast. Hockey practices, baseball games, juggling a full-time career, and keeping up with 2 energetic boys. But life hit pause after routine surgery led to a call she never expected. Stage 2 breast cancer. No symptoms, no warning. Suddenly, Amanda was facing a double mastectomy, reconstruction, weeks of chemotherapy and radiation treatments, and several additional surgeries. The path ahead was overwhelming. Through every stage, one question stayed with her. How do I keep being mom for my boys? Amanda's care team at the North Bay Regional Health Center made all the difference. They understood how deeply she wanted to hold on to familiar routines, cheering from the stands, being there at bedtime, staying present in the moments that gave her strength. Their compassion kept her connected to the 2 people who kept her fighting. She stayed present. She stayed grounded. She stayed mom. This holiday season, help ensure patients have access to the exceptional care they need during life's most challenging moments. Your gift helps patients like Amanda stay connected to the people they love while strengthening healthcare for families across our region. Visit nbrhcfoundation.ca or call 705-495-8125 to give.
Let's get into something that is not a thing this year, something that's not a thing this week, which is NDA sports, because it's exam season. And so that means there are no sports, but we do have one more week of sports left, and then we head into the dreaded playoffs, depending on who you are. But there's a couple of really cool matchups. So let's start off. You want to start off basketball or volleyball? I'll give you a choice.
Let's start off volleyball.
Okay, let's start off with volleyball. So we do have the standings here. There is a caveat, I believe. Did I give you the stand? Yeah, the standings are here. So your dad very graciously got us the standings heading into this. Now there is a caveat again. These standings do not technically include last week's, which we did cover. So this might not be entirely accurate in terms of where everything absolutely sits. However, it'll give you a good idea of kind of where people are sitting heading into the playoff area. So that's your, I guess, warning or just little editor note there where it's hard to get these. So this is like liquid. This is like gold. Right now. We're holding gold in the standings. So Jackson, let's start off with a little bit of the standings here. What does it kind of look like in junior volleyball?
In junior volleyball, it's Schollard has a strong grasp on first place, but last week Chippewa's juniors beat them in 5 sets at home.
Yep.
So it might look a little different.
I remember that. It was 7:00 when that game ended.
Yeah. So it's Schollard in first, Chippewa in second, Franco Cité in third, but there's a wide gap between Chippewa and Franco Cité. Chippewa with 7 matches won, well now 8, and Franco with 4. Algonquin in fourth, West Ferris in fifth, and Northern in sixth.
So it kind of gives you kind of an idea of that. I know, obviously, when you look at that, and we'll get to the seniors in a second, but really Schollard and Chippewa, like even with the seniors, look like they're probably, just like girls basketball, probably going to be the most likely final matchup, unless they for some reason meet each other in the set. Well, I don't even think that can happen before the finals.
Definitely shouldn't. Yeah, they'll probably end up meeting each other in the final. In the final.
So maybe a little bit of redemption for some of those basketball players.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
But Schollard has they're what, 3 times, they're going for their 3-peat, I believe.
I think so.
Or their 4-peat.
Definitely in the seniors.
They have dominated girls volleyball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the juniors, Chippewa's juniors won last year, but I think it's Schollard before that and Schollard maybe after that too.
So then what does the seniors look like?
The seniors looks the exact same. Schollard in first place, Chippewa in second place, Franco Cité in third place with a big gap between Chippewa with 9 matches won and Franco with 5. Then Algonquin behind them in fourth, Ferris in fifth, Northern in sixth, and Mattawa in seventh.
How close, though, is Algonquin and Franco? Because Algonquin did win their game against Ferris.
Both have 5 matches won. Franco has 2 more games played, and Algonquin has 3 more sets.
So those could potentially be swapped. It depends. I don't know if Franco won their last game, because Algonquin definitely would have against Ferris. So potentially that's a bit of a fluid situation there. But I'm surprised that that gap between Algonquin and Franco and Chippewa is that high. Because the games that I've seen from Algonquin, it looks like they're pretty much there.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember how they were last year, but I think they would be definitely more in the mix than a 4-win differential. Now, if they had to play Chippewa, Schollard, like there's your 4-win, there's your differential, but still, like I think they'd be in it for sure. I'm surprised they haven't snuck one of those out.
So the playoffs, like coming up next week, there's a couple of games left, not a whole lot. So let's just kind of move into what does the last week of volleyball look like for these games. I believe, well, I'll throw it to you, but it looks like there's a couple of good games in there.
Yeah, on the junior side, on the Tuesday the 3rd, Algonquin hosts Northern at 5, and West Ferris hosts Franco at 5. And then on Thursday the 5th, Algonquin hosts Chippewa at 6:30. And then one game on the 9th I have on my schedule, West Ferris hosts Northern at 5. And then moving to the senior side, similar idea. On the Tuesday, Mattawa hosts Schollard at 5. Algonquin hosts Northern at 6:30. West Ferris hosts Franco at 6:30. And then on Thursday, Mattawa hosts Northern at 5. And Algonquin hosts Chippewa at 5. And then one game on the 9th, West Ferris against Northern at 6:30.
So it looks like that probably the game that you want to keep an eye on most likely is going to be the Chippewa-Algonquin game. But then also depending on how Franco does, there could be some shifting in that 3rd or 4th seed. It looks like the 1st and 2nd seed are pretty much locked for the most part. Schollard doesn't play at all? Or did I miss?
They have one game against Mattawa.
Mattawa, okay. So you would Mattawa could always come out and, surprise people for sure. But it looks like right now it's going to be Schollard, Chippewa, and then
a French school, French Catholic school.
And then some sort of French Catholic school, there's Franco or Algonquin, which means if we look at potential semifinals, because the semifinals, I believe they start on the 12th, I believe is what I know in basketball. Yeah, the quarterfinals are the 12th. The semifinals are on the 17th. Same thing in volleyball, which will be interesting to see how they do. Like we talked before where normally it's like 4th and 5th place will play to try to to try to get them into whoever will be the top 4 teams.
Yeah.
Essentially. And then it should be 1 versus the lowest seed, 2 versus 3. So it does create an interesting Chippewa-Algonquin or Chippewa-Franco semifinal, which should be a very tight one.
Yeah, it should be a better semifinal than the other side.
I mean, if Schollard's playing Algonquin, though, or Franco, like, yes, Schollard has an advantage, but I don't think it's as crazy as you think. I think a Schollard Algonquin or Schollard Franco one would still be really good.
I think it would be good. I don't think there's a real chance of an upset.
It's not as tight as, but even then, Chippewa they look really good this year.
Yeah, if they lock it in, I guess, for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Then.
And then, of course, we get to the finals. And then when we get to the finals, right, let's kind of get a little bit of a prediction, a little bit of a bracket going here for volleyball. So it's hard because we don't know the exact things, but let's say, who are we predicting to be in the finals? And then who do we predict to win? And you got to give me the number of games. So
yeah, I think Schollard Chippewa final. I think Schollard wins, but the games I'm torn about. Does Chippewa win game 2 at home? I don't think so.
Okay, so
I think Schollard sweeps it.
You think Schollard sweep at Chippewa's home gym,
Yes.
Exactly like the girls' basketball.
Yes.
Oof. Not doing a lot for your alma mater there.
No, but just dominance, the way that Schollard runs their program. Like, Chippewa works really hard, and I know they do, but those Schollard girls are strong volleyball players.
Yeah, and will they lock in? I'm honestly very similar. It'd be hard for... I am a sucker for upsets. I like the underdog. I'd love to see like a Franco come in and get to that final. I don't want to go out to Sturgeon to do games. Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to travel out to Sturgeon. I will if they get into the finals. Just to play devil's advocate, just to be a little bit different, I'm going to say it's going to be Schollard Algonquin in the final.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Schollard is going to win in 2 games. Just to be a little bit of a contrarian, just so it's not the same thing. Realistically, it's probably going to be Schollard Chippewa, but I'd like to see a couple upsets happen. It's more fun. Franco West Ferris and boys volleyball that's another it's an interesting kind of upset there. I find it's better than whatever you expect. I would love it if like a Franco or Algonquin or kind of like the lower seeds just went and won the whole thing, because it would just be more. I love the Cinderella story.
Even if the 5th seed wins I guess it probably wouldn't happen, but if the 6th seed wins the quarterfinal match and then goes and plays a good semifinal, good for them. If a Ferris jumps in there, good for them.
I do it. I'm a big. I've said this before. I watch a lot of soccer, a lot of football. And I love and the cool thing about football is like you have competitions like the FA Cup where you have like the low teams play. So for instance, who was playing it? There was I cannot remember the name of the team off the top of my head, but Crystal Palace, one of the Premier League teams, they got upset at home from like a League 1 side. I think they were League 1 or League 2 side. So like 3 or 4 steps below the Premier League, and they won. And now Crystal Palace is also in shambles right now, but that's kind of a dumpster fire right now, unfortunately. But that's a huge win for them. And those are the kind of things that you don't see in other sports.
Yeah, wasn't that team like the players have to pay to play, not the other way around?
No, they were in the football league. So they, they weren't National League team. None of the players have to pay. Like even the academies for those, like the teams will pay you.
All of it.
Yeah. You're kind of like an asset, essentially. So they'll be like, if it costs you, like, let's say it costs you $500,000 to take you from the time you're 10 to the time you're 18. It's like they pay for everything, and then they'll sell you for like $1 million or $2 million to make profit. It's kind of weird when you look at it that way, but it's different than North American sports. But anyways, like those kind of the point that I was trying to make is those are like the really cool moments. Or even Benfica last night in the Champions League, they ended up beating Real Madrid. And they ended up getting on to the next round, which was kind of cool. And their goalkeeper actually scored they had to win by 2 goals for a goal differential, and their goalkeeper scored in like the 96th minute. It was a lot of drama. So I'm just saying, Algonquin, Franco, who else isn't? I think is it Mattawa and Northern?
And Ferris, yeah.
And Ferris. Oh, Ferris is also in there.
Yeah.
I'd love to see like a little bit of upset. Again, I think it's gonna be Schollard Chippewa. But wouldn't it be neat to see someone else make a run?
It would be lovely.
Yeah. Okay, so let's head over to the good old world of basketball. So in basketball, it's kind of an interesting spot because there's a huge game happening that has huge implications for seeding. Because basketball is a little bit of it's tighter than volleyball is. Like volleyball, you kind of have that clear winner. Yes, Ferris is the clear in the senior world, is the clear favorite, but the gap is not as large as I think people might think it is. Now, playoffs are a different time, but if you look at the schedules, again, these standings a little bit late, but Ferris did their only loss to Chippewa. They did cement themselves as first place, so they did win the regular season in that regard. But Algonquin and Chippewa find themselves tied right now with 7 wins and 2 losses. So they are neck and neck with each other, and they play each other on Thursday night. It's basically who's going to get the second seed.
Yeah, and some people say, does that really matter? Yes. I would say absolutely yes. They play each other at Chippewa, which is where Chippewa beat Ferris, handing them their only loss all year. So it's a tough spot to go into play in, and Algonquin's going to have to do it. And then if they lose, they're going to have to chew through a quarterfinal match and then do it again.
So third place has to go through quarters?
They have to play the 6th seed to move on. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's a little bit different than volleyball then.
I think
or was it the same?
I think
it might be the same. Okay. Other than that, you also have a bit of a gap there. Then you have Schollard, and again, Schollard very similar to football. Most of these people play both football and basketball. Very similar to football. They just haven't been able to get over. They have some strong players, but they haven't been able to get over the finish line. They find themselves 3-6 right now after their loss to Chippewa last week. Yeah, I was trying to remember off the top of my head who it was. And then there is a big gap. Franco has a couple wins on the year, and then Mattawa find themselves winless. So there is a bit of a gap there. But again, Franco's a team that can come. And I remember the first week when they played Chippewa, they gave Chippewa a bit of a run for their money, albeit the first week. I think, again, Franco, like in volleyball, and they could be a dark horse contender in that quarterfinal.
Yeah, ultimately, one of those teams, like even with a drop-off, one of those teams gets to play in a semifinal match. One game in a semifinal, one Ferris kid's sick, number 5 on Schollard heats up, hits a few threes to start, and maybe they squeak it out. Maybe they play their best basketball and they get a chance to play for a money game in the semifinal, and anything can happen.
Yeah, I just want to see playoff games at Ferris. I'm going to be honest. Just seeing the regular season games there, it's a different atmosphere, man. It's my Michelle Friday Night Football is a really good atmosphere. It rocks, but Ferris basketball is pretty good too. And I want to see Chippewa, if they open up the back, they open up the gyms, they kind of give it a little bit of, they pull out the bleachers and stuff. I would love to see, just for how rocking the gyms would be, I'd love to see a Chippewa Ferris final, just because I feel like both places would be really, really going. Algonquin's going to be a tight squeeze, but Algonquin Ferris again in the finals would also be, there's a storyline there with football. But let's talk quickly, before we get into predictions, before we talk about anything else, what's coming up next week for the final regular season. So on the basketball circuit, to end things off, in the junior world, on February 3rd, it will be, so Tuesday, will be Northern hosting Algonquin at 5 o'clock, Franco hosting West Ferris at 5, and Chippewa hosting Algonquin, as I mentioned, on Thursday at 6:30. In the senior world, pretty much the exact same. Mattawa will be hosting Schollard at 5 o'clock. Franco hosts West Ferris at 6:30. And Chippewa and Algonquin, the big game to watch, 5 p.m. on Thursday night. And that is it for that. But let's talk quickly about the junior standings because, not going to lie, kind of forgot about it. It is pretty much all Chippewa, which is very interesting to see, noting that how strong their juniors is. Because unless something changed last week, which I think I'm pretty sure they won against Schollard as well, they're perfect 9-0. So Chippewa, a bit of a death grip. Then it's Ferris is right there, Algonquin's right there, then Northern, then Schollard, and Franco shows no wins right now. So a bit of a different look in the junior, which always makes the seniors interesting for the next season of what's coming up.
Yeah, I think Chippewa has a super strong team, and Chippewa's grade 8s are also fairly strong. They got a chance to play in the Art Gaber before Christmas, and they had a better showing than I would have given them credit for. So the future is bright, but the rest of the teams in the junior circuit are all close, like 6 wins, 5 wins, 4 wins. Schollard with 2 wins, but Schollard's a big school. Like, they could just have a couple of bad weeks. So that playoff will be interesting. I do think that Chippewa will win
The juniors?
pretty just sweep the whole thing, but the rest of it should be close.
I mean, I did see that one Chippewa-Ferris game when they decided to flip the schedules upside down, and that was a confusing time. But, yeah, Chippewa looked really good. Like, their junior team looks really strong. I would be surprised if I could see them going up against Ferris, and I could see it being a decent final, but I think Chippewa wins that. Going in, though, into the seniors is kind of interesting. I love a Cinderella story, but I don't. It's a little bit different, though, because the competition is so tight between Algonquin, Chippewa, and Ferris. I don't know. I don't think anybody else is going. I don't think any other team is going to touch the finals.
No.
It's maybe Schollard, but they just haven't been consistent enough, and I don't know if they have the depth. Like, the depth that the other teams have is kind of scary.
Yeah, like, I don't think they can. They're going to get run into the ground by Ferris. Like,
I have a feeling it's going to be Ferris Schollard semifinal.
Mm-hmm.
Ferris wins. It's a 3-game?
I think it's just one.
Just one. I mean, if it's one game, anything can happen. But Ferris wins it, gets the finals, and then, yeah, I think.
So for me, it really depends on what gym that game's played at.
You think so?
Yeah, I would say whoever's gym it's played at, that team goes on. And regardless, Chippewa or Algonquin, I think Ferris takes it in 3.
But you have to make a decision. Chippewa, you think Ferris takes it in 3? Okay.
Yeah, I think.
But Chippewa versus Algonquin, who do you think?
I'd love to give it to Chippewa. I think it'll be Chippewa.
I do agree. I think that I will be the contrarian to Algonquin just to make it not the same. But I think that what I've seen from Chippewa, not that Algonquin has also been really good, but because Chippewa's already beaten Ferris. But I really want to I want a rematch of the football final.
Yeah,
that would be exciting. And then of course I think Algonquin's a little bit of they come in a little bit as the underdog, and then if they end up beating Ferris in 3 games, whoever plays, if it's Chippewa or Algonquin, I just want it to go to 3 games.
Yeah, you know what, I really do believe that 2 years ago Chippewa got robbed in the final against Ferris, so I'm going to say that Chippewa wins it all.
Okay.
Chippewa wins it all in 3.
Says the person who went to Chippewa.
Well, that's what a little bit of bias showing there, and I don't even care.
I think Ferris wins it, but I do think they win it in 3. I think it's
Says the guy who went to Ferris.
Yeah, well, you know what? I do think Ferris wins it. I would love, because part of me from a content standpoint, I just want the cool, whatever is the best story to happen. And Ferris winning on home court in a game 3, because they'll host whoever plays, would be very, very fun.
Yeah.
And I really want to do those post-game interviews after they win, because I think there'd be some fun stuff.
Well, I think those grade 13 boys like Wes and that's going to be a great interview. That's going to be a great feeling for them that they can leave.
And I kind of hope it's against Algonquin,
satisfied.
Not because I'm from Ferris, but I think, again, when you talk about storylines, they won in football. Ferris goes back and wins in basketball. Bit of a cool storyline.
Yeah, you'll get to chat with Nick during basketball after winning, and then you could probably chat with him a third time in soccer. You get him at the start of the year, the middle of the year, and the end of the year.
Yeah, because soccer is... He plays. I'm assuming he plays.
Yeah.
When does soccer start? Probably April?
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
May,
okay.
April, yeah.
I don't have any concept of time. No. So those are our predictions. So you've got in volleyball, we've got Schollard winning it, which is not surprising. It's much like volleyball on the boys' side, where you do have one really good team.
Yeah.
Basketball, I would say kind of like the girls' basketball, tighter. Yep. Though I would say this is, out of all of the sports we've covered, I'd say boys' basketball right now is the tightest.
Yeah.
Out of any of them. Because the other ones are 2 teams. This is 3 viable teams that could win this.
And it's not 3 viable teams. It's going to be a good game, no matter what.
Yeah. So super exciting. Though Ferris will win in basketball is our prediction.
Yeah, the Echo
Realistically,
prediction.
I mean, okay, he thinks Chippewa will win. We'll see.
I
And then
really
finally,
hope they win.
and then finally in hockey, again, there's only 2 games left. Both are against Schollard. We're not going to get super deep into hockey. I believe Chippewa plays
Schollard
Saturday or Wednesday.
Saturday.
So
Like tomorrow.
Yeah, so tomorrow night, 8 p.m. You can go to Sam Jackson and see that, or on Wednesday, on Wednesday you can see Algonquin Schollard, which I think I'm going to make it out to that game because I want to see. I've gotten so much Chippewa. Like Chippewa plays every week.
Seems like it.
It seems like it. So I kind of want to get some Schollard Algonquin. We're going to get a Chippewa Algonquin semifinal, 3-game semifinal, starting in and around the Valentine's Day weekend as well. I think it's pretty fair to say, unless Chippewa can find their scoring touch, I think it's going to be close. Only because Chippewa has gotten closer and closer. I think Algonquin wins it in 2.
I think I would love to say. I don't know how I want to say this.
Bias
showing
as the person who's the coach.
I'm a believer. It goes to 3. If it doesn't go to 3, it's going to be a tight 2.
I do think one of the games are going to be tight. They're going to be like 2, like the last game where it's 2-1. I have a feeling one of those games, like if the game 1 is tight, I have a feeling Algonquin's going to turn it up another notch. I don't know if Chippewa will be able to handle that next level.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different components. Like you got to look at like bench management and then fatigue of the kids and then like attitude, heart of the kids, both teams. Anyway,
I love Cinderella stories. I would love Chippewa to win that only because it would be like one heck of a story.
Yeah.
Because they haven't won anything this year, and it's like
maybe in the dressing room I'll do the miracle speech. You know,
we'll see. But I think it's fair to say Schollard will be playing probably Algonquin. I would be shocked to see Schollard drop a game personally.
They shouldn't. I would think
anything can happen.
Yeah,
but Schollard I think is going to win that in 2.
Yeah, I would think they shouldn't either. So they're
going to come out no nonsense, get it done.
No, and like. No nonsense and full body contact, and that'll be that.
So it should be interesting. So Schollard wins volleyball, Ferris wins basketball, Schollard wins
hockey.
Don't say Chippewa wins basketball.
Chippewa junior basketball.
Sorry, yes, Chippewa junior basketball.
Schollard sweeps both volleyballs.
Yeah. Sure. No, I agree with you. Chippewa will win juniors, Ferris probably wins senior, and then hockey probably goes to Schollard. So Schollard having a pretty good year. Girls basketball, assuming things go the way that it should, girls basketball, girls volleyball, hockey, and that's about it. And then Algonquin having a couple of football.
Yep.
I think they had one of the junior girls, basketball. I think.
Yeah, they played well.
Ferris, pretty much just basketball.
Yeah.
But
their junior basketball team had a good year. They just lost in the final. They started
that's right. It was
really,
tight.
really well.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting year. I'd love to see the programs from the Sturgeon teams, especially Franco, who they feel like they're there. I'd love to see them take a next step.
Yeah.
That would be really neat. I mean, Northern and Mattawa, like again, you're dealing with a lot less of a pool of kids that you can deal with, so that it's definitely a disadvantage. But I'd love to see Mattawa take another step as well, because they're kind of, they're a team that comes out and they're there to put out a good performance, but I'd love to see them move up the standings a little bit and really be a team that people are afraid to play.
I would love to see a team like Nabising or like Odyssey, or if they go together as their sister schools and they play like a great game against Mattawa. That's what I would love to see. Like, obviously, you're not going to come in and beat a Power 4 school like Chippewa, Ferris, Algonquin, but if they can come into the league and like just integrate themselves, start getting some good games, start getting some experience, and like some of it is like coaching too. Like let them be seen, give the coaches like some experience with the kids, so they like obviously your first year you're not going to be good, but then once they get in, I hope that they stay in.
Okay, so that's the Sportscast, man. It's number 72. That's a lot of not a lot of action, but a lot of potential. Now, you might say, what happened to Team Winters? I thought last week you were going to bring someone in. Jackson let us down.
Yep, dropped the ball.
I'm
fully.
just kidding. I've actually been in contact with their camp, their crew, and we're hoping, nothing's set in stone yet, but we're hoping to get them in before they head to nationals next Friday. So hopefully for next week, we'll have a bit of a spotlight on them. I don't know how I'm going to fit 5 people in here. I said I'd make it work. People are going to have to share mics.
Love finds a way.
Sure. Jackson said he's going to host.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hopefully he's not on strike at school, because Nipissing's right now in a bit of a
they're in limbo.
A little bit of a limbo potential strike, but it does free up your time to do a little bit of hosting. I'm going to have to put on my producer hat and try to figure this out.
Oh yeah, I'm going to have to.
You're going to have to figure out what curling is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm going to get 4 different versions of it. So we'll see.
All right. So much other stuff happening, right? Algonquin Chippewa in basketball. A couple of good matchups. I think there was a Chippewa Algonquin as well in volleyball that was there. We've got Algonquin Scholar, the final basketball game. There's going to be a lot of content. I want to try and get a little bit of Canadore stuff, maybe some Nipissing stuff as well. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff.
Go watch some games.
Go watch some games. Trappers also this weekend.
Yep.
Forgot about that. They're hosting the U16 team on Saturday and Sunday afternoon, so you can go out to that. I don't know if the Voodoos are in town this weekend. I haven't looked, but a lot of sports happening in North Bay and area starting off February. So the next time we'll see you, it will be February. That's
insane.
It's still like July of 2025. But anyways, to me mentally, I don't know. Time moves so quickly. All right, so again, that's been Sportscast number 72.
I'm Jackson Bull.
And I'm Ben Sargent. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Let us know what your predictions are potentially for the playoffs. Who do you think is going to get that 2nd and 3rd seed in basketball? And who do you think is going to take it all home in both basketball, volleyball, and hockey? Let us know your thoughts. And until then, we will see you next week for another edition of the Echo Sportscast.